Hi, this is Peter Darts Clairvoyancy, and I'm doing your daily tarot reading here for the 24th of January 2021. So it's a bit of a funny day today, is, and it's carrying on possibly throughout the week a little bit. And it's because you're sort of being pulled in different directions. It's like you've got to make some kind of decision or choice, but you're iffing and ahhing which way to go. So it's like it's very difficult. But I feel like you will make the decisions, but you're just not making it as quick as you'd like to. And in a sense, you probably do need to make it quick, but you just can't do it because you don't know what you want. You don't know what you're looking for. It's almost like you're looking for a little bit of inspiration. So it starts to weigh you down a little bit. But I do get the feeling once I feel so things start to bed in and you start to realise that there is only one path that you can take, but you daren't do it, then you start to gain from it. So this is where you gain from it emotionally, independently, and also for some of you financially as well. So it just feels like you've got to stick to your guns a little bit, so to speak. But like I say, it's not simple, not straightforward, because it's like you're rocking the boat here. And once you go down that path, it's like you don't know how it's going to turn out. You don't know whether you're going to make the right decision or wrong decision, but something just tells you it's the only alternative. But for one or two of you, you'll sit on the fence forever and amen. So in other words, you'll go backwards and forwards because it's like you're the sort of person who likes to know where everything is and where everything's going and everything in its little neat boxes and all ticked off. And that's great. You know, if you can get life like that to be that so in balance, brilliant. But you can't. You just can't. You know, life just doesn't work out like that. It's a gamble. It's like you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. But some of us just want to know. It's like we need to know. So we shy away from making the difficult decisions. And then that sort of delays life. But then who knows? Maybe you're not delaying life. Maybe you are meant to be where you're meant to be. Who really knows? But you won't really know until you take that leap of faith. But then if you feel as though you've made the wrong decision, then you could say, well, it's too late now and I've done it. So it's fear. But I always say you never make a wrong decision or a wrong choice, because at the end of the day, what will be will be. Your lives are mapped out for you. So in other words, you might sort of not be able to make that decision, forever. Maybe that's where you're meant to be. But then maybe you're not meant to make it for a few years, and maybe you're not meant to. And then some of us will just jump in and just go for it and say, what the hell? And maybe that's what we're meant to do. So, in other words, it's like we're all going round in circles, battering our heads out what's the right decision. But sometimes we've just got to stop worrying about it, and we'll make that decision in our own good time, in our own good space, and in the right way. And then that will be right for us. So in other words, everything happens for a reason. So we've just got to see where life leads us. And it can be very, very interesting. It can be very, very daunting. And it can be very, very scary sometimes. But at the end of the day, we've just got to see what happens. So let's just see what happens as we make these decisions. See, life starts to build up a little bit. And we start to get where we need to be. But it all spans from our choices. See? We've got to make these difficult choices. And like I said, we will gain from it because this is the card of gain. And it's funny, this card comes after that one. So there we're building up and here we're gaining from it. So, we just waiting on ourselves. And we've just got to have that faith to do what we feel so is right. It's a bit like saying, I want to set that business up. I know I've always dreamed of doing that business. But then fear sort of steps in because it's like, what if it doesn't work? Or what if I lose money? Or what if nobody likes my idea? What if nobody buys it? Or it's all what ifs, what ifs, what ifs. But it's either going to work or it's not. No matter what you think or do or say, isn't going to change that. Fate has a sort of certain helping hand. Some people call it luck. Sometimes you need to be in the right place at the right time. And to a point, yeah, I agree with that. But if we still don't throw ourselves into the deep end, we won't get there. So whether that's a relationship, a business, a job, it doesn't matter what it is. We have to sometimes just say, what the hell? Let's see where life takes us. Because what you want to think about is, as you move forward in life, and then let's just say you get to the last day of your life, and you're sitting in your rocking chair looking out the window, do you want to say to yourself, well, I wished I did it, or I had a go? Now, had a go can be sink, swim, failure, success. It doesn't matter, but at least you've done it and you've known. But, or you can sit there and say, I wished I did it, but then it's too late because you're on the last day of your life. You can't do anything about it. So, I know it's not simple. And as we get older, these decisions, these choices become more difficult. But there you go. It's all about having that faith in it. See where life leads us. See what the angels say. See, Luke changes in direction. I know there's a baby there, but you know, it's signifying birth. You can have a birth of a child, you can have a birth of a relationship, a birth of a career, a birth of a business. It doesn't matter what it is, there's birth there. But we've got to take that leap of faith to make that new beginning happen. Because if you don't make it happen, you're never going to do it. You're never going to know. And this is what I'm talking about. Yes, there's elements of fate and luck. But if you don't put yourself in that position, fate and luck will not take a part. Because you're not allowing it to happen. You know, so it's there, isn't it? It's like, say, right, I'm going to have a go at that business. So let's say if it fails. But if it fails for a reason. It might lead you to the next idea that really works, or it might lead you to a job that you would have never found if you hadn't gone down that path. Or a relationship. If you didn't walk away, you wouldn't have found that Mr. Right because you've been stuck where you are, and that person wouldn't have looked at you because you were attached to someone. Or you could take that leap of faith and, you know, walk away and you just find what you want and it just works. But then you could just stay and that's what meant to be. It's everything is a chance in life. One big, massive chance gamble. But we have to take those chances. Because if we don't, we won't get there. It's like me going back, I can't remember now when I did it. Was it 2001? Got to be 2001. So it's 20 years ago. Jesus, that's scary. 20 years ago when I started my catering business, approximately 20 years ago. I can't remember the exact year now. I'll have to do a bit of digging around, find out. But 20 years ago when I started my catering business, and it went bust. But, you know, if I hadn't have done it, maybe I wouldn't get to this point now where I'm reading for you. It's fate, isn't it? Then you could have sat there and said, well, I wish I'd never done it. Wish I'd put my money in property. And yeah, I'd have been perhaps a wealthy man by now. But I didn't, and that's that. But I always look at it as if to say, I needed to do it. I always wanted my own catering business, and I had to do it. And I did it. You know, we can't all ifs and buts, and we all can look back and say, I wished I did this and I wished I did that, and it can drive you crazy. It can. And trust me, I've been there. I've been there so many times. You know, but you can't change fate. What is meant to be is meant to be. Sometimes I say we have an element in that fate a little bit of making choices, but then sometimes I think, you know, last mapped out. I mean, what do you think? You tell me. Do you think things are fate, things are luck, or an element of a bit of both? I think it's an element of a bit of both. I think at the end of the day, we're all born to do something and be somewhere. And this is the way I look at it. I told my son this and it made him laugh. He thought it was crazy, but you saw what I was getting at. Let's just say every person on earth tomorrow, and say for the next 10 years, next decade, is born to be a copper, a policeman, a policewoman, right? But that's all you're born to do. That's it. There's no deviation, there's no choice, there's no variety. Everybody born from tomorrow for the next 10 years is born to work in law enforcement. So when that person gets to that age, say in maybe 30 years' time or whatever it may be, who are all the robbers? Who are all the thieves, people who kill people or whatever? There's no criminals, because some people are meant to born to do something naughty. It's fate. But we're saying no, fate is going to make you all to be in law enforcement. So who's going to be those type of people to keep the law enforcement busy? Do you see my point? It's a weird kind of way of looking at it. But we're all born to do something. We're all born to work in law enforcement. We're all born to to work in healthcare, industry, technology, computers, clairvoyance. It makes the world go round so we can function. So it's like when you get to that point at that year and you need something, somebody was born 30 years ago to be there for you on that day. That's fate, isn't it? And you can say the same for relationships. I always say some people are born lucky enough to leave school and to have their childhood sweetheart and be with them forever. Brilliant, fantastic. But we're not all lucky enough to perhaps find that. Some of us struggle. But why? Because maybe that person at that time is nudging forward to find that person, but the person that you're meant to be is sort of stuck behind you with somebody. So then you break away from the relationship that you're with, they climb forward a little bit, then they're free, but you're not free. So it's like you're like this, waiting for your true partner. And then one day, at some point in the universe, you're parallel to meet each other. But sometimes you're like this. We're waiting. If you think about it, it's very true, isn't it? It's very true. Weird way of looking at it, but it's very true. So sometimes we have to just be patient and let things flow. Because no matter how much we try and control something, it will not happen until it's meant to happen. I'll leave you to ponder on that throughout the day. Have a good weekend. Bye-bye.